On this episode of the Mompreneur Show, I'm talking with Lucy Lampe, a mom of four, an author of Achieving Sexy, and founder of Sexy Mama Movement, through which she empowered thousands of women to live a life they love in a body that they love. And as a personal coach, she works with moms in executive leadership positions to help them create and passionately engage in their sexiest lives. And today we're going to talk about her journey as a fitness trainer. That's exactly how she started. And now an author and a coach. We'll also talk about the word sexy and what it really means, and how you can define it for yourself. Because let's face it, it's not the same word as it was in the Webster's dictionary. I'm your host, Vicky, and this is the show that helps you win in business without losing at home. But before we get into the show, I'd like to thank two wonderful companies for helping make this show possible. And one of them is Maidon. And Maidon is a husband and wife team. They have 9 children, believe it or not, amazing family. I personally know them, and they make hard lotion. They make skincare products, natural skincare products out of their home, and they sell it all around the world. And it's wonderful products, as little as 3 ingredients, shea butter, coconut oil, just really, really good stuff. I use it on my kids all the time. In fact, the other day, my son got, we went fishing, and he got mosquito bites. And so in order to soothe that, I put her lavender oil on, and he was complaining like half the day. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go get it. Okay. Sometimes I forget, put it off. And then after I put it on, he stopped talking about it. And so it really, really helps. And another company, before I get into another company, make sure you get $5 off your next purchase at hardlotion.com. So if you go to hardlotion.com and you input the code Vicky as a coupon code, like literally my name, VICKY, you will get $5 off, which goes a long way. Okay, and another company I want to say thank you to is Audible. And Audible is a library of thousands of books. That is how I get to listen and what are these called? Goodness gracious. Quote unquote, read books. Everybody asks me, thank you so much, Lucy. Everybody asks me, how in the world do I get through so many books? Because I'm always like, whenever I'm talking to my mastermind group or talking to friends, I will say like, oh, I'm reading this book right now. It's always a different book. Like, how? Well, it's Audible. That is the secret. So if you want to consume more books, but you just don't have the time, but you're still running errands, you're still driving, you're still washing dishes, maybe when the kids are already sleeping, that is a really good time to listen to a book. And so if you would like a free Audible book along with a free 30-day trial, head on over to audible.com/Vicky. Again, that's audible.com/Vicky to get a free book. So again, thank you so much for coming on and spending your time with us. I know there's so many other things that you can be doing right now. And whether you're watching us live or you're watching the replay, thank you so much for the bottom of your heart, because I know that time for a mama is very valuable, and I appreciate you. Thank you so much for spending it with me. And let's get into the show. Hey Lucy, welcome to the show.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. I am, okay. I'm so excited.
Girl, I am just as excited. I have been, okay, so Lucy, I think everyone needs to hear the story. So, ladies, and it's so sad. I welcome the guests and I just keep on talking, but this is very important. So Lucy has been a huge supporter of Mompreneur Show. I'm not even kidding. Every single time a post goes out, a photo goes out, a quote goes out, video, she likes, comments, shares, likes, comments, likes. And I'm just like, who is this woman? Like, she is so supportive. And you guys, if you ever want to get attention of anybody, this is the way to do it. So I don't know if this was strategic, and Lucy, we're going to talk about that. And it's okay if it is. So it's totally awesome.
I just really love you.
Oh, You're
I'm
so sweet.
serious. Yeah, no,
So
you got it.
after all that like support and love, she reached out to me. I don't know if like I think we had some conversation before. And you guys, like
Yeah.
I love conversations, and I know so many of you messaged me personally on Facebook and on Instagram. And you, like those of you who did personally message me, you know I love to chat. So I love having conversations with you. Anyway, so we started a conversation, and Lucy offered me her book, and her book is in one of my like many bookshelves, and I'm so sad. And like I was running around really like super just not I just didn't have enough time to prepare, and I was like, oh, where's that book? I couldn't find it. So pretend I'm holding it right here, and it's called, please remind me, it's called
It's
Sexy
called Achieving Sexy,
Achieving.
Redefining Your Mom Life and Mom Bod.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so she sent me the book, and I was like, that is the sweetest thing ever. Anyway, so and then we start talking, and Lucy's like, we had a roll call for guests, and Lucy's like, oh, I'd love to be a guest, and but I was like, okay, you can be a guest, but let's not use the word sexy. Can you believe it? And then she was so sweet. She's like, yeah, okay, we can like, go around, we can make it work. And then she's like, wait. And she made me this sweet video, and she's like, Vicky, you know what? Like, I'm gonna be true to myself, and I love what you're doing, and I totally respect you for what you're doing, and but I'm gonna stick with this, and there's just no way around not saying the word sexy because it's like engraved in my business, and I'm totally like paraphrasing, but that was like such a beautiful video, and it was such a huge moment of realization for me. Like, do I stand behind what I do as strongly as she does? Because she specifically says a lot of us women are prone to pleasing people. Like, we love pleasing people, and that means sometimes putting away what we believe is true for us in order to please someone else. And this is me. I'm such a people pleaser. And when I heard that from her, I was like, okay, I'm going to rethink this whole word sexy, this whole people pleasing thing. And Lucy, I just want to say that you give such a confident vibe, and it's so attractive. It's so contagious. And I'm just so inspired by you, and I'm so happy that you're finally on the Mompreneur Show and that we get to talk about all this.
I'm just so excited. And I have to say too, about that, whenever this whole thing actually came about, and first of all, I completely believe in your mission. And I really do think that the way I found you, and now that I was thinking about it last night, was I was Googling mompreneur communities, because we need communities. And when you're starting a business and you're taking care of kids, and they say you are the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. Well, for me, 4 out of those 5 people are under the age of 10. So I'm like, I need to surround myself with people who are aspiring to greatness too, and we can rise together, and we create that internal environment for ourselves, our mental environment, so that we have that every day instead of just falling in line with whatever's happening around us. So anyway, I'm pretty sure that's how I found you. And whenever I do that video, I think just quick note about this. I remember after I wrote Vicky this initial email, and I said, yeah, like she said, I want to be respectful to your audience and everything, and respectful of you and your feelings. But then I just felt like this knot in my stomach. And it's so familiar. It's that feeling that I get that I hadn't gotten in a long time. That was like, oh, this is not authentic to me. And I have to be true to myself. And I love so much about you. But one of the things that I respect the most about you lately is the fact that you have thought outside the box, and seen the big picture, and thought introspectively, like, what is this about in myself that, what's going on in that? Why do I feel this way about you? Yeah. So way to go.
You're so sweet. And I'm so happy that you brought that up, as far as like really looking deep inside you. And ladies, and this is a good message for all of us. I mean, we didn't even get into the show yet, and we're already talking about deep stuff. Like, I love this so much. Really looking deep after every single thought of judgment, after every single thought of like maybe being rude, or every time you react, the way you react, always think about it. why did I react like this? Why am I jealous? Why am I so judgmental? Like, I think that it has to do, everything has to do with you and your internal well-being versus the other person. It has nothing to do with the other person. I mean, and there are special circumstances, but generally it's what triggers you. And what is that? Why is that? And we're going to be touching upon that a little bit today, Lucy. So I'm so excited. Okay, let's go all like way back and talk about your journey, because you're now a coach for moms. I think you work with some men about like really redefining your life and redefining what sexy is, and redefining, I almost whispered that, and redefining just like really making your life full. And but you did not always start there. And ladies, like you're probably wondering like, oh, Vicky just started off with a show. No, there's usually always, there's years and years and years of prep work before someone gets to in a position of like you or Lucy, or I mean, not that our position is any better than you who are watching. It's just like, it's always a journey. There's always a journey. And so now that we're presenting this beautiful, successful in every area of her life, mom entrepreneur, she has always been, let's say, successful in the important areas of her life. It's just like she is now sharing that with us, but she hasn't always been exactly where she is. I'm totally babbling, but Lucy, now share your story with us. I'm so excited to hear it.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm originally from Peru, and moved to the States with my brother and parents when I was really young. So I grew up in the South and the Midwest. My father used to be a bodybuilder, so I had this fascination with fitness that I would watch him at the gym, but I was never really allowed to train and put my body in any kind of real risk or danger. And that's fine, that's fine. That's just what my parents preferred. But I had a fascination with fitness, and I felt really drawn to it. But I was equally drawn to just bringing out life in people. And the way that we connect the dots later in life is just really fascinating. So when I went to college, I studied health and exercise science, which is like kinesiology and all that stuff of exercise. And I started training people and doing the whole fitness bit, which is great. But when we were in LA, we moved to San Diego a year ago. Before this, we were in LA. I just working with women in the Hollywood area and working in the entertainment industry myself as a commercial actress and model. You might see my face in some random advertisements that I don't even know are coming out. That I realized that there was something deeper. There was a deeper need that went way further than the exterior. And so I started digging, and I knew that I wanted that for myself. I had 2 kids at that time. And honestly, you guys, like I remember their whole first, I want to say maybe 4-5 years. Our youngest 2 are 13 months apart. Our oldest 2, our youngest 2 are 14 months apart. And I just remember feeling stressed and unhappy and overwhelmed. And like, I just got through it. I didn't enjoy it. I look back at videos now, Facebook pops up like 7 years ago. Like, oh, that was really cute. I don't remember being like soaking that all in. So I hated the fact that I was missing out on my life, and I was just hustling because I am good at work. I can make myself busy. And it came to a point when we were in LA that I intentionally got less busy, and I started asking myself the big questions. And I had never done that really before, because in our culture, we take pride in being busy, right? Hard work, like that's where it's at. You got to hustle, you got to put in the work, and then you see the results. But I really believe that identity, like who do we think we are? Why do we do the things we are? Is that in alignment with our values, our identity at the core? If that foundation isn't set, then we have no hope at really showing up as our best selves to our kids and to our spouses and our friends and our coworkers. So that's where all that started. And then I started working in some of the mindset coaching elements into my fitness training. And now I'm officially transitioned out of fitness training. So it's really exciting because I love seeing those transformations. I love going there.
Okay, Lucy, I'm gonna pick at everything that you said. So you said that you intentionally stopped being busy.
Yeah.
That is so amazing. What you mentioned you asked yourself some questions. Like do you remember what questions you asked yourself to really
Oof.
define like what drives you to be so busy? And
Yeah. Honestly, one of the first questions I asked myself was, what am I putting my identity in? Because at that time, I was doing fitness, I was doing health, I was working with people,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I was striving to be an entertainer. I wanted to be a big singer. And the thing is that since I was a kid, I felt like this is my calling, this is my gift.
Wow.
And if I don't make this happen, then God's going to use somebody else, or I'm going to miss out. It's that FOMO, that fear of missing out that they talk
Yes.
about now.
Oh,
And
wow.
but the thing is, it wasn't bringing me life. It was like killing my soul. It felt like a burden instead of an opportunity or a privilege or a blessing.
I want to talk about that. That's really interesting. So a lot of times, a lot of coaches say, if you want to find your work in life, you got to look at who you wanted to be when you were little. And how did you balance that with really, is this my true calling, or is this just someone who I wanted to be when I was little?
Yeah, when I've dug a little deeper and peeled back those layers, what I found was really interesting because I knew that I always wanted to use my voice to impact people, to influence
Yeah.
people. But what the funny thing is, I was limiting myself to my singing voice, right? So like I never imagined that I would write a book or start speaking or coaching people and use my voice in that way. So, I kept myself in that box.
I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that you connected that. Like you are still using your voice, but just not in the singing part. But
Yeah.
although I did come across a video where
Yeah,
you did,
I do still sing some. I do mom parodies and I do I do a little stuff here and there, but
goodness gracious, you are so good. I was
oh,
like, so when I came across
oh,
those, I did not know that you had
oh, that
like
it
that.
was me.
I didn't know that you first. I was like, okay, who is that singing? I mean, that's really good. Did she hire someone to sing for like
Which one was it? Do you remember which one it was?
I think it was the Bruno Mars one.
Oh, it was probably the latest one. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
so cute. And I'm gonna link it up in the comments. But like, I love that you're still getting that creativity out of you by
Yeah.
making those videos because like
Yeah.
you are so talented. Like you
Thank
have
you.
such a great voice. But I loved how you connected that. Like instead of singing, in front of on stages, you now share your voice, but in a bit of a different way, and empowering moms, empowering people in general. So
Yeah.
that's oh my goodness. Okay, so
Yeah.
how long ago did you start this? Because you are, honestly, I don't understand. You have four children,
Yeah.
ladies,
Yeah.
four children, all very young. You are a great and devoted wife who, like, obviously, I mean, you spend so much time with your family, but at the same time, you hustle so much. Like, you get so much done. I don't know, like, I don't how you're like magic fairies or something, but you get
Oh, I
so much
wish.
done.
Send me some.
So how long ago did you get started? And how do you get so much done?
Okay, so I love to break this down. And also, ladies, this is something I touch on these things in my book too, because it is like essential.
Yeah.
First of all, remember when I said I intentionally slowed down,
Yes.
I simplified. Another question I asked myself was, what is necessary? What can I cut out? What am I just doing to please other people, or because I'm supposed to be doing it, or this is what moms do, or this is what wives do, or whatever.
Yeah.
And I simplified. And if something that isn't purposeful or doesn't contribute to my vision,
Yes.
my goals, and doesn't align with my values, I do not commit to it. And we have to just be okay with saying no, and being assertive. That doesn't mean we can be like total, mean people about it. It's just, it's a skill that when you develop that, it comes in really, really handy. I do like time chunking things.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if I'm going to do like 2 or 3 podcasts at one time and just record them so that way it's not lingering. I am a very task-oriented person. I love checking things off my list.
I can see that.
I love that. I'm very kind of type A personality, I guess. You could say very ambitious and focused. And I'm really good at stepping into that, what they call a masculine energy, because I am driven, So that's actually kind of my vice. It's good for me to know that about myself, because while that can be helpful and help me get things done and stay focused at the times that I'm set aside to be focused,
yeah.
I have to watch myself to not let work consume me mentally, even, because I want to be present wherever I am. And that honestly has been my biggest challenge, because I can be making dinner or talking to my kids and thinking about like, oh, did I boost that Facebook post? Or, what did I write down that note? So my mind is always on. But what I find is that when we schedule in, like you were saying, like you set alarms for things,
yes.
and you schedule in things, activities that need to be done, then it's like what they say, work expands to fill in the time.
Exactly.
Like butchering that quote.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And as you know, I mean, I for me, being a mom and having like the more kids I have, the more focused I become, because I have no time to waste. So everything is intentional. And I love living with intent.
Okay, so this is a very hot word right now, especially in
Yeah.
2017, is intention,
Mm.
being intentionally with your kids and how you spend your time. But I want to go back a little bit and talk about what you mentioned, that masculine, that you have that, the strength. This is very interesting to me because I know that a lot of women have that. And that's the mom boss, in people, is when you see the mom boss. I don't think anybody who doesn't have that masculine energy in them.
Have to be able to step into it.
Exactly. And so like I think everyone has that. But now, how do you get back into your feminine with your husband, with your kids?
Yeah. This is a great question. This is something that comes up in literally every conversation that I have with someone in a leadership position, because we have to be able to, we wear so many hats, right?
Yeah.
And we have to be able to switch throughout the day. So when it comes to my business and dealing with other people, especially if I'm communicating with men and like a largely networking events and things like that, still a lot more men than women.
Yes.
And
yes.
So, so I have to be able to do that. Not that we're trying to be aggressive and be like,
no.
make yourself big, but you step into your power in one, and then you step into your power in the other, because your feminine is extremely powerful. And I think it's totally understated. What pains me is seeing women trying to be like men to be successful, because that is not real, unless that is real for them. I have seen some women who at their core are more masculine, and that's beautiful too. But when they're not, and they're trying to be more masculine because they feel like they must in order to be successful, that just is completely false. So what I do, because I'm not like, like a man, I'm not looking like a man or anything, but on the inside are traits that we use, that we show, that are more masculine, like being very organized, task-oriented, just wanting to get things done, driven, ambitious, versus the carefree, creative, just more open, welcoming, receptive. And I learned the hard way, you guys, like the really hard way, that I couldn't bring my go-getter attitude into my marriage, because that is not something that needed to be conquered. That is something that I wanted to show up for as the feminine woman that I am, and give my husband the opportunity to lead. Even if it's just making oatmeal for the kids in the morning. Like, it's literally, I don't need to take over everything or tell him what to do. It's, I can look at the list of things that need to be done and ask him, hey babe, can you take out the trash tomorrow? Can you wash the dishes? But even that, he knows already what helps me And it might seem insignificant for him, but it's very significant to me. But what he wants is for me to be present as the woman, not as the CEO or the founder or the coach. He wants me to kind of not like be needy. You know, the men don't want us to be needy, but they want to be heroic in some way.
They do.
They really do. They want to be respected and loved and seen and heard, just like we do. But the short answer, I guess, the way I do it is just I try to loosen up. I think about him. What does he need? Because not every dynamic is like that. Some men are more feminine at their core. Mm-hmm. Not that they look feminine, but they bring that energy to the relationship. Mm-hmm.
That is so interesting. I'm so happy we're talking about this. This is so important because I am such a bossy pants, a firstborn, go-getter. I wouldn't say I'm super duper organized or as far as like getting stuff done. Seriously, I'm just like, I'd love to do all the creative work and only the creative work. But anyway. Yeah. And I've learned that it's so important to be bossy and a go-getter and getting things done in the business. But once you step out, like let's say this is my office, this is where I do my work. Once I step out, I need to tap into my feminine traits because I need to leave my masculine, my go-getter, my bossy pants in the office. And I think that's so important. And I think that, I think Donna Malstaff talked about this also on the show in November, I think, where she talked about like, I can be the boss of my business, but not the boss of my marriage. Something like that. Not the boss of my husband. Something like that.
Yeah. And they don't want us to be their bosses.
Exactly. So ladies, like, you know,
sexy.
I love that, you know, we're talking about this because this is exactly what the message that I want to show you, that I want to connect with you on, is that we can rock our businesses and we can be go-getters and we can do all the things and we can be very successful. We can speak on stages, but it's so important to come back into our homes and leave those bossy pants behind and really be the feminine, the wife, the soulmate that your husband craves you to be. And Lucy, I'm so happy we're talking about this because that's the point. Like, what's the point of like being this incredible entrepreneur who is succeeding in all areas of your business and losing at home? And this is exactly what my husband and I were talking about this morning. Like, what are our priorities? I'm like, you know what? My priority is my marriage, my children, and then my business, not the other way around. And never will be. And so I think that's very, very important if you want to succeed both.
Yeah. I mean, I will say like what my husband finds way sexier than a woman who is like on top of the world, owning business, you know, conquering, crushing it, is just me being silly on the floor, playing with our toddlers and not caring, you know, just like, I don't care who sees me. I will dance crazy and silly. And because that is me embracing myself. And he loves that.
I love that. Oh my goodness. I just saw my mom is watching. Mom, that is so sweet. It was her birthday on Saturday. So happy birthday, Mom. I love you. Miss you. Anyway, so Lucy, I love that you mentioned that about what your husband loves in you, because my husband does the same thing. Like sometimes I'm like, well, what do you like best about me? What do you like when I do? Like what? And I think it's important questions to ask your husband. It's like, because communication is very important, and asking these questions will only help you. And so asking your husband, like, oh, what do you like about me? What do you like most about me? What do you like when I do? Like, what do you like when? Like, what makes you feel safe? And he's always told me, like, I love it when you take care of the kids. I love it when you play with them. I love it when you teach them. And that is so important. And I to be honest, when he first told me that, I was like, whoa, that really, like, I never thought of that. I never, like, my masculine energy, like, tipped in, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go get her, but that's not what our husbands want. So, okay. Yeah. Love that. So let's move on, but I'm so happy we're talking about this. Katie, it's so good to see you, hon. Really, really appreciate it. Olga, I don't think I said hi to you, so thank you so much for being here and watching. Olga said, yes, embrace yourself. Don't try to please everyone. I like to be silly and dance with kids. So, okay, about Olga. So funny. Olga, I remember this so much. Olga is my cousin, and I told her this a while ago. Olga, I don't remember if you told me this, if you remember this, but Olga was always silly, and she's like the crazy silly. Like she'll make faces. She will. Okay, I should probably not give away all our secrets, but yeah, funny. And I told her one time, I'm like, Olga, you should take it down a notch. Like you're a little too out there. You're a little too crazy. And I remember she's like, no, that's who I am, and Alex loves that about me, and Alex is her husband's name. And Olga, I don't know, let me know if you remember this, but I truly remember saying that, and I don't even know if you were married yet. I think you were just dating when I told you that, which made me feel so bad after, because like that's the worst thing to say, is to tell someone not to be themselves. So I love that. Okay, and I love that you mentioned that up, because yeah, silly dancing, and Lucy, some of your videos that really comes through. Okay,
it's fun.
Oh, Olga said, "Go ahead. I have nothing to hide." Okay, let me get started. Just kidding. Okay, so
All the veins.
okay, so can we move back a little bit and talk about your fitness? Your time as a fitness instructor, because I know some of the moms, they're really into fitness, and why not bring their passion and also make money from it by teaching others. So how did you get started in fitness? How did you get your clients? And I know you did, sorry, such a chock full of question, but you posted some great fitness videos on YouTube, and like I was wondering what effect that had on you as well.
Okay, so let's see. How did I get started? Okay, so when I at first I did some internships and some work with gyms like the YMCA, a couple different YMCA's. Can you remember Curves for Women? Are they still around?
I don't think so, but I do remember.
Got to be around all the women. It was great. That kind of turned me on to the idea that I really love working with women more than men. Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's good to know. Always good to know.
yeah, it's good to know, because not all women want to train women. Some women are really good at training men, and for me, it was just I wanted more of the emotional connection, and I wanted to really tap into that even before I knew what coaching was.
Amazing.
So I was just drawn to that. But when we were in LA, I actually would go door to door. Wow. And knock on people's doors and say, "Hey, I'm Lucy. I'm an in-home personal trainer," and I would bring all the equipment to their house and train them. And I mean, I probably knocked on 2,000 doors. The only reason I know is because I printed a whole lot of flyers, and maybe like 2 clients out of that. So like I said, I'm driven, and when I set my mind to something, I just go out and do it.
Okay, can I pause you for a second?
It's crazy.
That is marketing 101. Is if you don't have the time, because building an online brand is great, but it takes a long time. It takes a while for people to come to you, to know, like, and trust you. But if you want money right now, like, you literally can start today. You can start knocking on doors. Like, if you're plumber, electrician, gutters, anything, any service-based, anything, products. I mean, I went selling with my kids this fall, for their school fundraiser. Knocking on doors is one of the very first marketing strategies, and strategies that are still effective, like literally to this day. And so many people totally think that it's not, but I truly, for example, like Lucy, you might have not even known, like maybe out of those 2,000, like people came to you later, or somebody shared it with a friend, or like, oh, this girl walked by and she shared this, like you just don't know.
There's this flyer that somebody gave me. Yeah. So, it's like the long-term impact of that. My challenge now with going, knocking on doors is, 2 things. So it is a little, it's a very different experience to go knocking on doors as a fitness trainer than as a personal coach. Like, hey, let me coach you and help you get your life.
For sure. That's different.
And so I made that mistake because I was doing that. And then I was thinking like, maybe this isn't really the best way to, but for fitness training, it totally was. People weren't expecting that. You do get past your fear of rejection really fast. Yeah. You get comfortable with being told no, and just comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I think that was really the biggest thing that I learned from that process, was just putting myself out there and being okay with the no's.
Yeah.
That was just part of that.
Okay, that is so good. And in business, there are going to be a lot of no's, a lot
Yeah.
of no's. Like I've been trying to get some A-listers on the show, and I've been getting no's, And
Yeah.
if the first no, I went and cried, but then it felt better.
Yeah, and sometimes just to be real, what are you feeling?
Yeah.
Do you need to process through that? I never try to stuff down my feelings anymore. It's okay
Mm,
to feel. It's just like, what is this feeling about? And
yes.
what is my next action step? I do three things. Whenever I'm in a funk, I make a list of what's wrong. I make a list of what's right, and then I figure out my next action step. Because then it's like there's something you can do. You always have a choice about what you're going to do next or what you're going to focus on. So
I
it
love
helps.
that. I love that so much. Okay, so let's move on a little bit and talk about like your how long ago was this?
What's that? Oh,
When you started fitness training?
um, oh, it was years ago. Let's see. It's 2006
Wow. Okay.
originally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you keep up with the clients? So you got clients. How did you grow that momentum?
Um, One-on-one, it's recommendation. It's me going to their door, literally. And then online, that's a whole other animal. I mean, this is the third year that the Sexy Mama movement officially, as its entity, has been going, and
I'm sorry, what year?
this is the third year.
Third
So
year. Wow.
we're just past 2 years and maybe 3 months that it's been going, as it's called now. Because I had my own things to get past mentally with the word sexy. And
Oh,
so,
can you tell us about that?
yeah, yes. Okay, so growing up in a conservative Christian home, I, there are just certain things that we are taught that are okay and things that are not. And the hardest thing for me to wrap my mind around was when you're married, all of a sudden being sexy is okay. But before that, it's like that part of yourself doesn't exist. You have to kind of like pretend it's not there, and let's just get through this and make sure you don't get pregnant, and just, and make it till you get married. And then you're supposed to be like this, like tiger in the bedroom.
Yeah.
All of our men want that. And
Yes.
they want that free woman, that free carefree woman who is like, who's welcoming and receptive, not guarded and has an agenda. So it took me, oh gosh, I mean, honestly, that part of my life
Wow.
was was very painful for
Wow.
until honestly maybe about a year and a half ago,
Wow.
because and then that has a lot of layers too, like me fearing losing my husband, so I wasn't 100% giving him all of my love, that kind of thing. And so then that led to him feeling neglected and like I was withholding love from him. So it just goes so much deeper than just sex. And that's why I I like going there, because usually that's a good symptom or a good bird's eye view of some what else is going on in the relationship.
Oh my
But
goodness.
that's a whole lot. I'm going on a rabbit trail now because
No, 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 go ahead. Go
oh
ahead.
dear to me. But where were we going originally?
I love that you mentioned that you were okay, first of all, thank you so much for being so vulnerable. Like
Oh,
I thank you
yes.
so much. That is my goal always, to really give our viewers the realness of both me and the guest. And thank you so much for being so real and honest about your relationship, because sometimes it's really hard to open up. And I know that, ladies, those of you, like, I mean, just on Instagram, I had a few conversations with women who cannot open up to their friends and family because of fear of judgment,
Yeah.
fear of maybe not making them proud. And thank you so much for being so open. And second of all, I think that I honestly think that every woman goes through that, is the fact of like afraid of losing the husband.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that. And I just want to go on what you said, is that whatever decision you're making out of fear is probably the wrong one.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
never, ever make decisions out of fear. Always make them out of love. So, Lucy, that is beautiful. And I'm so happy that we went this rabbit trail, because I mean, we could talk about this forever. And oh my goodness,
No,
I just looked at the time.
I know. I
I'm
know.
not
Oh
even
my
kidding.
gosh.
I just looked at the time. This is
We are in flow.
seriously, I thought we were like 20 minutes in. Oh my goodness
This is
gracious.
what happens too. It happens when I have coaching conversations and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been an
Yes.
hour and a half. We need to.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so I at least want to give mamas what I promised them about,
Yes.
like how do you define? No, let's go back a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
I want to go back a little bit and talk about like how you made the transition from the fitness. I know you talked about the mental transition, but again, I just want to comment. And it's probably because I talk too much, but I want to comment on the transition. Like there's so many transitions in an entrepreneur's life all the time. And it's so important to note that. So whether you're doing something right now and you're not really into it, like transition, it's okay. There's always transitions. And like, who knows, Lucy, like what if you and I might transition soon too. So talk about how you may started gaining clients from, let's say, from the Sexy Mama movement, from posting on YouTube videos. Is there like a story that you'd like to share with us that really has impacted the growth of your business?
I mean, honestly, the biggest impact is just being consistent and showing up, and honestly, showing up as myself and not as the ideal of who I think I should show up as, because it's really it all comes back to our identity, right? Like, what do I identify with? Who do I think I am? Because that's who I'm going to show up as. And so I'm constantly reflecting on that. Like, who am I? Why am I, and it's like, why am I here? What am I doing? But anyway, just being consistent and showing up authentically, that has been, and not being afraid to go there, and not being afraid to be vulnerable and to an extent, with the right people. But
Yes.
my crew and my audience and my tribe, because that's people can see right through you if you're not being authentic. So
it's true. And I think that I made a lot of mistakes based on that. It's like, how do I come across as me or as an expert? And I chose the expert for a long time, and it didn't serve me very well. And so Mama, those of you who are watching, I just want to encourage you, like, come as you are. Don't try to fake it till you make it. Don't try to fake your success or fake your expertise. Like, come as you are. I think that's really important. Really good lesson. So, and consistency. I saw you're so consistent with the videos, with your content, just rolling things out all the time. It's so inspiring. Goodness, we don't have time to get into all of that. But can we define, like, how did you redefine sexy for you? And then we'll wrap up.
Okay. So back when I was working with women in the LA and Hollywood area, I realized that everybody wants to be sexy, and especially when they're trying to be this entertainer or this famous model or actress, there was this feeling like they're scrambling to look perfect so that you will feel good on the inside, so that it fixes something that's broken inside, and that never works out that way. It might put a Band-Aid on it for a little bit. But what I realized was that the women who were really, really sexy and radiant were the ones who were just owning themselves, who took ownership of their lives, who could make mistakes, but not identify with them, and then make better choices next time. And those people were more of my role models. And not perfectly symmetrical, and they might have like a weird thing on their body, or they're not perfect, but they're so sexy. And I'm like, what is that about? So my part of my mission is to redefine, or at least expand, the definition of sexy to being someone who is completely comfortable in her own skin and just loves and accepts and develops herself. And because that ultimately is what's going to shape the futures of our kids and generations, so many generations. When we break patterns that have been just passed on to us unintentionally, unconsciously, nobody wishes that on their kids. I mean, not our parents. So why keep perpetuating that? That's why I do what I do. That's what I'm passionate about. And that's the big vision of the Sexy Mama movement, is to help moms step into their power so that they will literally impact the whole trajectory, the future of this world. So, yeah.
I love that. So Lucy, where can mamas learn more about you and what you do and the Sexy Mama movement and the courses and the programs that you offer?
So the mother's site, decided to call it that a while ago, is sexymamamovement.com. And I do have a free program at the very top. You just put in your email address, and it is a 12-week online thing. You have exercise demos, home workout program, and a little side of like a little bit of coaching. And actually, I'm about to open the enrollment for the Sexy Life Academy, which is completely separate from fitness and health. It's actually all about mindset. We cover things like self-concept, identity, emotional mastery, time and energy management, communication, connection, habits, all the stuff that really shapes, how we show up in the world. And I'm so excited about that because it's 8 weeks and it's all online. And I'm keeping it to a group of 10 max because we get pretty personal and we want to have that consistency of the same people showing up. So that's what I'm the most excited about right now, because that's real transformation right there.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And I love that you're keeping it down to 10 people. I think that's where the magic happens, is like really in a small circle of people. So Lucy, thank you so much for being here and sharing your truth with us. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for sticking around. I am so thankful for you and to you. And I know that looking at the comments, you all enjoyed this episode so much. Natalia said, keep loving the show, keep going. Unfortunately, it was like 40 minutes in, and so we had to wrap up. But Natalia, you can get more of some Lucy over on her YouTube. So if you go on her website, she has a link to her YouTube channel, and then make sure to sign up to her free 12-week program. Like, she's amazing. And so I just, every time I talk to her, I feel the energy. I feel her confidence, and I just feel what an amazing woman she is. And I'm so happy to have had her on the show. So thank you again so much for being here. I hope that I will see you next Monday. And I know I say every single Monday, but that soon will change. And before you get the sad face for a little bit, I'm going to take off June and July off to be with my family. We're going to go camping. We're going to go traveling. We're going to take a road trip around the U.S. We're going to go to Portland. And so we're going to spend some time there with the family. And so I really have to take the time off. Last year, I didn't take the time off. And I did it every Monday consistently even through the move. And the move was cross country, and it was unbelievable how I even pulled it through. But I feel like my family really needs me during this time. So I'm going to take a step back a little bit. I'm going to miss you so much. I'm still going to go live here and there. I'm still going to be on Instagram. So make sure that you catch me there. I'm just Mompreneur Show on Instagram. But thank you again so much for being here. It brings me so much joy to see you in the comments and to see you loving this content, because that's the point. Like, I try really hard to bring the guests on that will help you improve your life, not just mine. And remember that I'm in the position of a learner myself. Like, I learned so much from Lucy today, and I just hope that you did too. All right, I hope that you will join us live next Monday, every single Monday until end of May, at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, right here on Facebook Live. Thank you so much again. I hope to see you next Monday, and always remember that you are absolutely amazing. All right, I will talk to you later. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.